for this next session of the AJL Profitability Hub online conference. I'm the pleasure to have my colleague Ezio Albanese on the line. So Ezio, thanks a lot for taking the time. And first of all, we can start by how are you? Where are you locked down? And how are you keeping sane during those hard days?
Hi, Nico. Thank you for this great opportunity for me. And yes, lockdown is very, very, very hard, but I'm enjoying my kids for sure. So I like it. But I think we are working very, very hard in this time. Yeah.
Yeah, well, at least you can work and enjoy your kids at the same time. It's not what we usually do when we work. So there's a positive even in those hard times.
Yeah, super positive. Yeah.
Perfect. So let's start a bit about what is AJL Pricing Solution, and if you can give us a bit more context about that, and also about yourself and what is your background in revenue management, so our audience can understand a bit more.
Yeah, I have an immense passion for the hospitality industry. I initially capitalized on my engineering know-how and my analytic skills, work as a revenue manager for the hotel industry. In the past few years, I have lent my knowledge to the short-term rental industry, focusing on development of tools and technology, enable property manager to increase the profitability and the sustainability of their business. Now with AJL Consulting, we are focusing on profitability for property management in the short-term rental industry. By adopting a bottom-up approach, enhanced with our own tools and know-how, we aim to provide a customized solution looking at the overall profitability of PM on a unit level. We provide a recommendation of selling price to maximize commercial result of an entire company, property manager, and not just for one single booking. We only focus on profitability, taking all the costs, booking rules and policies into consideration, while helping the property manager to make the right customized decision for all his financial challenges.
So basically, if I can reformulate what you say, so it's taking more data into account in order to formulate pricing that will positively impact the bottom line of the property managers using that solution and tools.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Well, that's quite interesting, especially in moments like the one we are all living now, and also to provide solutions for the future and give a bit more flexibility to property managers, and also more oxygen when there's a pause in demand or any market fluctuation.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot for the introduction. I think it puts a good context around our conversation. Sorry. So we'll get a bit more into it. So can you explain to us what is the goal or goals of AJL Pricing Solutions?
Yes, create sustainability and profitability. In our opinion, the growth and professionalization of our industry depends on a shift for more profitable management models. Pricing solution is based on a proprietary algorithm which takes in account the well-established revenue management principles and market trends of the industry, but more importantly, it integrates in its execution a whole section connecting to the different costs and their fluctuation. Our tool also offers the possibility for the property manager to have a clear understanding of their costs, both by classifying them according to their nature, fixed and variable, and according to the function of the cost itself. Allocating cost correctly is synonymous with optimization.
Okay, so perfect. So basically, it's maybe going one layer deeper compared to what is done now, and looking at on the cost at a unit basis, and looking at the contribution to revenue also on a unit basis, making
Correct.
sure that all the bookings that come in are positively impacting the bottom line of our partners.
Correct.
Perfect. So yeah, that's quite a renewed approach. I mean, compared to what is done at the moment in the industry, and I think it's really, I mean, it's really accurate in this moment in time. And so, as you said, you have a background into the hotel industry. So
Yeah.
why, when you compare the two, why do you think it's necessary to change or revamp the current approach towards yield and revenue management to include profitability?
Good question. The implementation of a correct revenue management strategy, Nico, is a crucial step. Mm-hmm. We are not saying that you need to ditch that, but we believe that is a fluid approach, unless it goes along with proper cost control and cost management. Mm-hmm. Above all, if we, as a property manager, don't take the right decision on a structural and management level, planning a sales strategy based exclusively on the KPI, such percentage of occupancy, average rate, booking pace, it does not ensure sustainability. Okay. Furthermore, attempting to maximize revenue does not give us an exhaustive information on the validity of the individual property. I think that the property manager have always focused on increase their portfolio, without, however, considering how profitable it might end up being. Mm-hmm. I can provide you a simple example. If a property manager add, for example, 20 units to each portfolio, and this increase is not accompanied by the right strategic decision, for example, improve the service, improve the team, they might be forced to lower their standard of services, which as a consequence affect the economic outcome results.
Okay. So basically, making sure that every unit in your inventory is profitable. So looking a little bit in a more granular way to what is the portfolio of a property manager and how can each unit contribute to the sustainability and profitability of the company.
Sure.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, that's of course it's a brand new way of seeing things. We've seen a lot of focus on growth, and maybe now with the current circumstances, we are seeing that this growth need to be paired with a better control of the cost and an understanding of the unit economics of an inventory for a property manager. Yeah, and so there's not only not profitable companies in our industry, some companies are already turning a profit. So does the AJL pricing solution work only for property managers that do not have that focus on profitability? And how can AJL pricing solution add value to a profitable business?
Yeah, we believe our tool can be used to enhance profitability or to build a profitable pricing strategy for a profitable business. An AJL pricing solution will enable our partner to improve their bottom line for the ones who have not reached that milestone. And we will accompany them in building a tailor-made strategy for their business, that will enable them to reach profitability. Our analysis will take in account the business specifics, and the strategy will be made according to our partner needs, regardless of the area of improvement identified, and we will guide our partner accordingly. We believe pricing solution could also be used as a way to educate the owners and build a stronger relationship in that way. Property manager have an easy way of showing the owner that a few adjustments to their property, for example, could result in a high turnaround for both the owner and the property manager company.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, that's really interesting. And as you start to point out, it's not only the output, so the pricing, it's also the input. So how the property manager is basically managing his operations on a day-to-day, and operations can be quite a wide word. So this can go for the sales team, the owners, and that can have a broader effect on the business. So yeah, that's thanks a lot to bring more context about that tool. And another question, because sometimes some tools are not available everywhere. So does AJL Pricing Solution work in all markets, leisure, urban, any destinations that we can imagine?
Yes, Nico, for sure, with different metrics, but with the same approach.
Okay.
The bottom line. The algorithm adapts its analysis and implements the most suitable pricing strategy according to the market information encountered on a determined location. But the approach is tailor-made, both on the revenue management side and on the cost analysis, cost control. An example, above all, the distinction between the leisure and the urban market. The former, as we all know, is characterized by a strong seasonality factor, and that will influence and have effect on the management of the individual cost. Lower during shoulder season and higher during the peak season. In the urban market, even though it also slightly affected by seasonality, in most cases, structure and service costs are there through the year. These different fluctuations are reflected on the final output, that is dynamic pricing.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, so for people to understand better, that approach will be made according to individual property managers, and even property managers with similar inventory in the same area won't have the same structure for their business, won't provide the same service level. So they will have a completely different pricing strategy in terms of the output. So the dynamic pricing, all the yield rules that you can apply to a pricing strategy of a property manager. Okay, perfect. And so it's, I mean, revenue management is a topic that is broadly mentioned into our industry as a way to optimize that. And there's already quite some tools on the market for property managers. So what are we adding to the conversation with AJL Pricing Solutions?
So far most dynamic pricing provider have developed their tools considering multiply market related factor, but none of them, I think, my humble opinion, have implemented solution that focus on the property management business structure. Here is another simple example. If we consider the same unit, same property, but managed by two property managers with different management models, for example, full management or only distribution. According to this provider of a dynamic pricing tool, the sales strategy should be identical for both. Same properties, same characteristics, same market, same historical. Instead, for us, for pricing solution, it is not. As the sustainability, therefore the profitability of the unit, depends not only on the typical market factor. If we consider only this aspect, the sales strategy can coincide for sure, but also on the analysis of the cost that the property manager must sustain to manage the unit in question. This is I think that the factor that could be differentiated, the final output, the dynamic pricing, the strategy. We need to integrate this part in our sales strategy, the structure, the cost, and how the property manager could be sustainable, and how it possible to reflect that in the final strategy.
Okay, perfect. Thanks a lot for that answer, and it's true that it makes a ton of sense. Two businesses with different service model don't have the same challenges and don't need the same outcome to be profitable as a business. And in your opinion, why is it crucial to open that conversation in that specific moment in time?
Yeah. We believe that profitability is a goal to strive for regardless of time. There is no technology on the market that supports property manager to be increasingly more profitable and sustainable. Today we are facing an emergency on a global level that has brought the hospitality industry to its knees. I hope only for a short time. And therefore, those companies who in the previous year have not correctly allocated resource to cope with this situation are at the serious risk of disappearing. And for this reason, Pricing Solution has this goal. The final output, the pricing, must also include this dynamic, because a sustainable business revolves around long-term strategic choices. Every crisis is the opportunity to review common practices in the industry, and we believe that the COVID-19 crisis can be a wake-up call for the short-term rental industry. This will illustrate the vulnerability of some models, and need to focus on increasing profitability as a way to create sustainability. This is why we want to keep our industry with the best tool and analysis available.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's perfectly understanding, and we see that now with the partners we've discussed with, the one that had some reserve, they are not in the same situation as the one that didn't have a profit and that were continuously running after increasing their revenue to basically keep the business afloat until they reach that point. So yes, it's true that it's crucial to have that conversation now, at least start it, and then find the right solutions with property managers in our space.
And Nico, in addition, it's not only cash reserves, because a business model sustainable is not only have a great cash reserve, but is a take right decision, have a cost service more flexible, are a lot analysis on that.
Okay, perfect.
It's not only cash reserves.
No, of course, it goes,
Now it's oxygen.
ways beyond that. But that cash reserve, the one that had that, are feeling better. But then, of course, it's a broader analysis where you can review the whole business structure and make sure that this is ready to weather a storm. If we compare our industry with another industry that you know really well, the hotel industry, what is the main difference you see in revenue management for vacation rentals compared to hotels?
Revenue management, yeah. Well, if we want to use a metaphor, short-term rental as a one-shot sale approach, while hotels have more ammunition at their disposal. To be clear, hotels often have different type of rooms, and the revenue manager has more room to apply a more different strategy, and also revenue manager play a little with the calendar optimization. For example, through upgrades, relocation, etc. The sale of short-term rental leaves no room for errors. The implementation of a sales strategy in our industry is almost a surgical operation, and it is not just about selling at the right rate, but also with the right timing, the right cancellation policy, the right payment policy, and through the best possible distribution channel. This is for me the main difference on the revenue management side. Then certainly hotels have a different cost structure with high fixed cost, and in the short-term rental industry, most part of costs are flexible. This is a good thing for us, especially in this moment, to create sustainability.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, as we already alluded to, different business models, different structures will lead to different strategies in terms of yield and revenue management, and it's logical to not take everything from hotels when the inventory, the supply itself is really not the same. As you said, it's a one shot. You don't have 5 or 10 times the same apartment to rent. So that makes a lot of sense, that there's only one, and you need to make sure that this sale is really optimized according to different factors. And so once again, compared to what you know and what you've experienced in your career, do you think the industry of short-term rentals needs more know-how and more professionalization into their approach of yield and revenue management?
In my opinion, exclusive adopting this type of approach is not the correct path to take. Having a broader vision, starting from the cost unit and then scaling it up to optimize and maximize revenue. Sure, it might be more complex, but it certainly ensures greater profitability. Mm-hmm. Professionalization must take place at 316 degrees. And for this reason, I think the dynamic pricing algorithm development by Pricing Solution is innovative, integrating cost fluctuation in the sales strategy, and therefore in the dynamic pricing ensure the maximization of performance, both at unitary level and at management level in general.
Okay. Yeah, I understand, and of course it looks more complex, as you say, but it's another industry, and it's a very unique type of supply. So of course the strategy might be a bit more complex to establish, but in the end it's for the benefit of the business that will take that approach.
We need to manage this complexity. because for now is a priority. My opinion.
I can agree with that. And so you spoke about a 360 approach. So we can assume it's taking the whole business and looking at it piece by piece. So what can be the ripple effects on other part of a business, not only the revenue and the profitability, but what can this analysis bring to a business, maybe into other parts of the organization?
Absolutely. This is precisely the characterizing factor of our tool. By analyzing the different costs and comparing them with the market benchmarks, the PM, the property manager, will be able to have more precise and detailed information on the management of his service, and which is actually negatively affecting the overall results. Property managers will be able to evaluate which model are more sustainable for the business, and in consequence take the right step to make the structure more flexible. Being able at any time to analyze how certain strategical and tactical issues are reflected on the results will allow the property manager to take better long-term decisions.
Perfect. Yeah, I understand that, and of course that's a good way to see maybe where your business could be optimized. If your operations are maybe taking too much of a cost compared to what is done in the industry, you can then also work on that, create new processes, automate some of those processes. That opens a lot of doors. And so that it seems to be a lot of business restructuring. So how do you plan to build your analysis with your partners, and what is the level of collaboration or engagement that you need from your partners?
Good question, good point. It's a team effort, Nico. We need to make team with them. Both during the input phase, data collection, and in the output phase, provide dynamic pricing and provide performance analysis. It's a teamwork. A stronger connection between us and our partner, I think, can only be beneficial in terms of results. In any case, AJL Pricing Solutions provide an automation process for the configuration of both the unit and the cost management model. Regarding the output, the dynamic pricing, we are planning the development of a web-based application that will synchronize and update the strategy daily on the different channel managers adopted by the property manager. Okay. It's a team effort.
Okay, I understand completely, and yes, of course, that's a very high level of collaboration that you need. But in the end, it adds a lot of value for the partners. But let's say that if we look at property management businesses, not everyone has the person that's knowledgeable about yield and revenue management. So how can I use, if I'm a property manager and I don't have any staff knowledgeable about yield and revenue management, how can I use AJL Pricing Solutions?
Yeah. Pricing Solution was born from the need to manage the complexity of the business and make everything scalable. For us, this means providing two parallel services, our tool and consulting. I think the right synergy of the two proposals can compensate for lack of knowledge or resource, such as revenue manager. being able to maximize the use of the tool is an essential goal for us at the AJL Pricing Solution, which is why we provide continuous training and support if our partner needs it. On the other hand, having knowledge about it will facilitate the use of the tool and ultimately being able to customize it according to the most appropriate strategy.
Okay, sure. Perfect. So if I understand correctly, you are also able to train someone towards those techniques. So if there's no internal know-how, you can take one employee and explain him, teach him little by little how they can manage this tool and put that in this day-to-day routine, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And so in terms of the process, can you give us more indication about what are the mandatory steps into that process and that you need to build your analysis?
The configuration of the single unit takes into consideration all the essential external and internal characteristics that make up what we call the DNA of the property.
Okay.
This analysis is crucial, is fundamental, because it lays the foundation for the formulation of the positioning strategy in the market and for the constant strive for competitiveness. Then, after this phase, which is always adjustable over time for various reasons, restyling, improvement of the territory, new service, etc. After this phase, the algorithm goes on to process the data and trend of the market where the unit is located. This data is provided by the main market provider in the sector. Then the analysis of the property manager may concern the adopted business model, the number of property in the portfolio, and above all, the cost structure in place and the cost allocation. Once the above information has been collected, the algorithm automatically process and separate the different costs, classify them by service, management, property, and this classification allows us to formulate and define the individual cost unit and to analyze them according to their different nature, a process that will be essential for the optimization of the cost formula. It's a complex phase, but is necessary.
Yeah, I understand that if you're looking at an individual basis, you need to build that analysis that requires a lot of cooperation and data, but then it's something that you do once, and then that will only have a positive impact on the rest of the execution. So yeah. That's okay. So that's the new approach. And so for people listening us now and who would be interested about adopting this approach, if I'm a property manager, can I use AJL Pricing Solutions now?
Our MVP is ready for live testing, and we are currently onboarding some test customers that we logically will help us validate our tool for the different business model that we can find in our industry. We still have some slot available for this, so don't hesitate to engage with us if you want to be a part of this. We will reward your time with a free trial of AJL Pricing Solution.
Okay, so for people listening and being interested, don't hesitate. There will be an email address at the end of the video. You can just send us a quick email. We'll get back to you, and we can start working on that together. And we think that's something that can substantially help any vacation rental business. And in terms of so you spoke about data collection before, so the data input into the system. How much data do you need to start working to build that analysis?
The data that we must feed to the algorithm is of different nature. We start with the data concerning the property configuration. Then the information concerning the cost management models. Once this configuration has been set up, the algorithm needs to receive data related to the market and the day sales performance, the daily pickup. The configuration of our pricing solution tool contemplate different phase of acquisition data, without which it's not possible to define a right strategy of control and management cost. To be pragmatic, first of all, we need to know the agency business model. Full management, only distribution, rent to rent, and how the agency manage all the service. For example, is the cleaning in outsourcing, is it internal staff, or another example is a check-in, key handling service, an automated process, self-check-in, outsourcing staff, hybrid. Then, last but not least, the agency structure. Then we begin to process correctly the amount of each cost, differentiating monthly based on the unit economic, and analyzing in deep how each individual cost is reflected on the result of the month. This information gives us a clear perspective of cost structure, and all this data allow us to allocate the cost correctly and support a deeper analysis of the unit economics.
Okay, so that's really customizable, as you say, to every business. But in any case, you need as much data as possible. So if I understand correctly, we really take into account with that AJL pricing solution the uniqueness of every business. Is that correct?
Yeah. The answer lies in the complexity of the algorithm and its capillarity. Our tailor-made approach and the customization we provide will address this issue. The data collation process will give us a snapshot of the business and be the basis of our engagement with partners. Our algorithm is customizable and to different business model and can take as much variables as needed into account.
And is there a limitation in terms of the numbers of variables that can be fed into the algorithm?
It's extremely customizable. Our algorithm is extremely customizable, and we can adjust to the particularities of every business.
Okay, perfect. So, well, that was a really interesting presentation, Ezio, and thank you very much to provide us this insight about how the analysis is made, how the collaboration works with potential partners, and I'm sure that will interest lots of people in our audience. So, thanks a lot for your time, and so. What can you say to people looking at us so they can remain sane and maybe optimize their time now that they have more in front of them?
Thank you so much, Nico, for this opportunity, and now stay safe in this time is our motto, and for sure I hope to see you soon. Not in Zoom account.
Yes, of course, of course. Yeah, I think we are all looking forward for that moment when we can just all get together and put that behind us. In the meantime, we will have to work on online conferences and see our colleagues, loved ones, families, and etc. using Zoom. So thanks a lot for your time, Ezio.
Thank you.
I leave
You're
you go
welcome.
back to your family, and let's speak very soon. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye bye.